But ultimately, yeah, you're looking to make the home look better without spending more than you absolutely have to. So a lot of it is relating to making it brighter, so painting with lighter colors like a white or a beige, and then making sure lighting is everywhere in the house, simply just existing.
You're listening to Realtor In Your Pocket podcast. Do you want a head start on buying, selling, or renting in Ottawa? You're in the right place. Every episode brings you great advice and insight that you can keep in your back pocket until you make your move. And now, here's your host, Nick Fundytus.
Welcome back to Realtor In Your Pocket. This is a podcast all about how to buy and sell your home, not just in Ottawa. Across Canada, there's a lot of tips that we have here. We like to think of it as an encyclopedia, collection of episodes that will help you if you're looking to make a move. I'm Nick Fundytus of Royal LePage Performance Realty in Ottawa, and I am joined here today with Chelsea and Karim. I'll introduce them in a moment. It is February, and in the real estate world, we often call this the pre-spring market. And part of February is actually the start of the spring market here. Now, many of you may be thinking about moving once the flowers bloom, but the work actually starts now. So today's episode is all about preparation. Now, we often see people wait until the week they want to list to call us, which usually leads to a frantic rush of painting, cleaning, and stress. But the most successful moves, and the ones that sell for the highest price, which is important, are usually start months in advance. So we're going to talk about where you should spend your money and where you shouldn't, the truth about staging, and most importantly, how to keep your home show ready without making your life miserable while you still live there. So, I am joined once again by Chelsea Angus and Karim Ali from our team. They are realtors on our team. And last month, we talked about the timing of the market. But today, I want to pick your guys' brains about the preparation of the house. So they're the ones on the ground walking through homes with our clients, coordinating painters, stagers, home inspectors, and helping families figure out what to pack and what to keep. So Chelsea, Karim, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So here's the first question for you. We'll talk about the pre-game. So we're going to talk a little bit about getting a head start and engaging your professionals early. So Chelsea, let's start with a common misconception. So many people feel that they need to clean up or fix the house before they invite a realtor over so that they make a good impression. Now, why do we always say, please call us before you do anything?
Yeah. So we say that simply because some people will go to the extreme, right? So our job is to help you figure out where to spend your time and your money when preparing your home for the market. So we want to see it in its original state, and we will help guide you through that and help guide you through the most efficient way to do that, both in terms of time, money, and, stress.
Yeah. So Karim, we talk a lot about team support. So we work as a team. We have had clients say that one of the things they really like is that they get to know all the different people on our team. So a lot of sellers feel like the preparation is entirely on their own shoulders. How specifically can a real estate team help take that weight off of them? So are we talking about advice or actual, say, coordination of trades?
Yeah, a bit of both. A lot of it is we're experts in selling homes. We do it multiple times a year, right? So we know best practices, what to focus on, especially if you're a busier seller who may not have all the time in the world to complete the entire list of things your stager brought up. So we'll help you make sense of it, but also coordinate your trades. So we'll be kind of a general contractor to you, and kind of make sure that the painter comes before the cleaner, and that the cleaner comes just before pictures, so that everything kind of moves smoothly.
Yeah, that's a good point you bring up. We kind of bring things all towards, like, photo day is the real, like, this is where you want the house looking the best. But just, so somebody listening has an idea of what kind of things we do. What kind of, we talked last episode about a pre-list home inspection. We've touched on stagers. We include both of those things with our listing. What other kinds of things might get coordinated before the listing of a home?
Yeah, really it depends a lot on the home itself and what it needs as well. But yeah, we usually start with our staging consult, and that gives us the bigger picture of what we might want to tackle prior to listing. And then, I mean, if the home needs it, we can engage painters, handymen, to do little fixes around the home that you might not have time for. And then we do the pre-list inspection, which will give us a better idea on the current condition of the home. And we take it from there. If, red flags might arise from the inspection, then we decide if we need to engage any other professionals to help us tackle those things, if it makes sense to tackle them before listing. And then lastly, we have those professional cleaners come in and do a big deep clean of the home, places you might not have touched in the, in the last few years. And finally, by then, it's shining and looking perfect for videos and photography with our professional media team. Yeah.
So over the years, we've coordinated all kinds of things. So painters to go in, handymen to do different touch-ups through a home. One time years ago, I scheduled for some buyers. This was on the buyer side, but a wedding planner because they weren't sure whether they were ready to buy or not yet. Yeah. So, and they didn't know how much a wedding costs. We said, we'll give you a consultation with them so you can kind of talk about that. But on the selling side, there's a million things. Like we had a landscaper last year with patio stuff. And if we can take the burden off a little bit, so what's sort of reasonable for our scope to do, we don't want to totally take over from you. But if we can make things easier, that's kind of our goal. Yeah. So that's what we're planning to do, is being professionals. I'm going to give this question to Karim here. And it says, we have an article on our site about selling homes that have good bones, but need updates. And we've certainly run into a few of those together over the years. If a seller has a limited budget for doing things like repairs or limited energy, so maybe they're older or there's some other reason just with time and energy and things like that where they can't do those repairs, what are the high impact items in a house? So if we're looking for something that's just like is the classic good bones house, are we talking a full kitchen renovation, or are we looking at paint and lighting? What makes the biggest impact on the bottom line?
Yeah, it's mostly paint and lighting, maybe flooring in some cases if it's inexpensive relatively to the cost of the home. But ultimately, yeah, you're looking to make the home look better without spending more than you absolutely have to. So a lot of it is relating to making it brighter, so painting with lighter colors like a white or a beige, like a light beige or light gray. And then making sure lighting is everywhere in the house, simply just existing in the house. And sometimes just also kind of uniform throughout the house, right? You don't want different colors in the same room necessarily. But those two things alone make a big difference. A big kitchen reno it's really hard to get that back in the sale, right? For the very vast majority of homes.
Because a full kitchen reno is going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars. And if I'm going to spend if I'm a seller, if I'm going to spend tens of thousands of dollars, I'm not doing that unless I'm sure that I'm getting that back. Because if I'm going to spend a bunch of money on a kitchen, it's because I want to use the kitchen.
Right.
Yeah.
I walk through homes with buyers all the time where the buyers are like, where the home will have been renovated, like a kitchen reno will have just happened. Mm-hmm. The buyers will be like, it's too bad. If only the home was just priced a little lower.
Right.
But that kitchen reno wasn't done. I would have totally went for this house, and just customized that kitchen to what I want.
I see that all the time too, because people tend to renovate to their personal taste, right? And their personal taste isn't going to be everyone's taste. When you're spending that much money, it makes sense to just leave it as is almost. As long as your kitchen is functional, that's really what a buyer cares for, right?
And sometimes the best way to deal with something like a kitchen, where like somebody's going to come in and renovate this kitchen, whether it's the seller renovating it for sale or the buyer is going to move in. Maybe the buyer is going to stay there for a year or two and then renovate a kitchen. We just closed one like that where they said, we've got to renovate, but we're going to give it a year to kind of think about how it all flows. Sometimes the best thing to do is get an estimate, right? Yeah. Because buyers come into your home and they often, especially if it's a person buying their first home, and no fault to the buyer here because we were all tenants at one point, right? You don't know how much stuff costs. So is a new roof, is that $15,000 for shingles or $5,000 or is it $50,000? And those are very different numbers for your math of whether you can afford a home. Same with a kitchen. So if you, as a seller, prepare an estimate to say, hey, here's a reasonable kind of middle of the road. IKEA kitchen, and IKEA makes very good kitchens for what they charge. And you say it'll cost this much to put in, and a buyer can go, okay, I can get that under budget with what I'm willing to pay for the house, but at least everybody's working with real numbers. And it has the knock-on effect of not just being useful for everybody to know, but it makes things like the negotiation friendlier. When the seller, nobody feels like they're being taken advantage of because they have actual real world numbers that they can work with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned lighting. Why does lighting matter so much?
It's a good question. I think most importantly in first impressions almost. So if you're taking pictures of a home with terrible lighting, it just won't show well in pictures no matter what you do, right? And getting buyers through the door will be really hard. Even if your home actually presents decent, it'll be hard to get the buyers through the door. And once they're in the house, a dimly lit house or a house that's hard to see is one where I see buyers don't feel comfortable, imagining themselves in that house, right?
I mean, just think of where you're living now, right? And think of, it's a Sunday afternoon and you've got the lights off in your place because it's the afternoon, and just how it feels on a sunny day versus a really gray overcast day. And then remember that we live in Ottawa where it's, dark at 3, 4, 5 p.m. for half the year. Yeah. It's a really important thing. And stagers are really good at this because we have a fantastic stager, Kaylin from Room Remedy, who has been on this show before. And she talks about lighting all the time and says, just get like the high wattage, bright lights in there. And it might feel unnaturally bright to what you normally live in. It makes a big difference to the buyers. Just like you said, how comfortable and how safe you feel in a space is just as brightly lit and welcoming. Even if you had to go trudge through an Ottawa winter. And when this episode comes out, it's going to be February. We're going to be like in the dark if you're listening to this probably. And, going into a house that's nice and bright and warm and welcoming. Mm-hmm. So that's what you want.
Mm-hmm. I've seen the same basement, of a house with two different buyers, and seeing it lit up versus like a month later where somehow the lights were kind of burning and not really working too well. Like it was a nice basement the first time I saw it. Second time I saw it was kind of a creepy basement that we were kind of turned off from, so it makes a big difference.
Yeah. Hey, it's Nick Fundytus. Question, what's your favorite social media platform? Are you big on Instagram? Do you Reddit? No matter where you are, I'd love for you to find me there and connect. All you need to do is type @NickFundytus and follow, and let's you and I connect. I'd love to be able to provide you the right answers, the right resources, and the right content to help you make your next move. If you send me a question, I always answer back. So subscribe, and I'll see you there soon. Okay, so Chels, let's clear up the word staging. So I think that a lot of people think that we have to back a truck up to their house and replace all their furniture. What is the difference between a staging consultation, which we recommend for everyone, versus a full staging? And we can maybe even talk about virtual staging a little bit too.
Yeah, so the staging consultation part is what we include with all our listings. And essentially, it's a little meeting with our stager, usually Kaylin from Room Remedy, who meets with our clients and will walk through the home with you and basically give you tips and tricks on how to make your existing space show its best. So it's an easier, more affordable way, less timely to make your space present to its best ability. That could be just like repositioning the couch to make the space feel larger, or moving, an accent chair to the basement because it looks better down there or fits the space better down there. Where physical staging is where we're bringing in actual furniture. So if you have a vacant space, that's always an option. Or if you're missing a few pieces here and there, we've done that for clients in the past as well, just because it will, make a big difference in the space. And they may not have a piece that would fit there already. Virtual staging is becoming bigger and bigger these days, I find, and we've used it many times before. Great for vacant listings as well, but it gives buyers who are looking online a sense of what they can do with that space. So AI is great at helping them envision that, and it shows, what the space really offers.
Yeah. And a big part of that is cost because we'll cover a certain amount of staging, but at some point, it overruns the cost, or I mean, what we would make in commission on the property, and
Right.
amazingly quickly. So I remember when we listed that place on McLeod a couple years ago,
Yeah.
353 McLeod, beautiful, beautiful penthouse property. I think it cost us $6,000 to get the furniture in the door
Yeah.
and in there for the first month. And then it was still, I mean, it's about half that to carry it each month. And thank goodness we sold that quickly because,
Yeah.
because that would easily overrun the budget. And so what we typically do is if we're going to go the physical staging route, we will cover, I mean, depending on the property, we'll cover a month or two. And then after that, we're going to share the budget with the sellers. But even that, like if you're a seller, you can see how that eats into the money you're going to make on your home. For us, we have to very carefully weigh it against how certain we are that it's going to sell in a timely fashion. And virtual staging on the other hand, you can virtually stage a whole home for, I mean, even a good sized home,
Yeah.
for under $1,000.
Yeah.
It looks, and this is with a good virtual stager, so there's a human in the mix there, and they've had a good hand in it, and the AI tools for that are getting better and better all the time. But to have kind of our recommendations on what suits the space, and so somebody who can fill the space, and it does make, I mean, it's still nicer to walk into someplace that's when you're actually in the space, but the first step is to get people to go to the home, and virtually staging can really, really help with that. And especially as we are in a buyer's or touching a buyer's market, and if someday, if we're down the road, if we're in balanced market right now. And if we move towards a buyer's market down the road, the longer that a property is on market, the more appealing something like virtual staging is going to be.
Yeah.
So there's a time and place for every different kind of thing. Pretty much every time is good to have a staging consultation because it's going to tell you things that you might not have considered about how to use your space. And would you say by and large that people have too little stuff or too much stuff in their homes?
Definitely too much stuff.
Yeah, too much.
Yeah.
I think you always underestimate how much stuff you have.
Yeah, it's very rare that we have a home that's too bare. And if it's really is too bare, we can stage a little bit of art, or we can even virtually stage in some nice pieces. You can have a Jackson Pollock in your very own home, or a Rembrandt or whoever. So, does every home need to be fully staged to sell?
No, not at all. Most homes will benefit most from just a staging consultation, just to make this flow of space work a bit better, the lighting work a bit better, colors flow a bit better once again. A lot of it is really working with what you have already. There might be some small changes to what's in the house, like adding some pieces of paintings on the wall, if the walls are very bare, or repainting, but
Yeah. I would definitely second that. I mean, the staging consultation itself, I think, is definitely useful for everyone to be a part of. But even little things like removing, family photos from the walls or stuff like that is technically staging, but it makes a big impact.
Yeah, so staging has much broader, meaning than what some people take it to mean,
Right.
especially if you watch any kind of HGTV shows.
Yeah.
You'll find, I mean, over the course of any of our episodes, are just like working with a realtor, you find that it's not like HGTV at all.
No.
Now, our next question here, we'll talk a little bit about sustainability of the listing, like of the preparation you've done. So we'll give this one to Chelsea. So this is the hardest part for families. This is the model home versus real life balance. So you still want the home to look perfect, but you have to eat dinner there and the kids still have toys and maybe you have a cat. How do you help clients find a standard of show ready that is actually sustainable? Keeping in mind that, most of the people that we work with are either, a working professional, or they're a family with kids. Lots of our clients have pets, or they're older. And I mean, there's the sustainability of just having your show ready when you're a senior. Yeah. So how do you actually keep it doable?
Yeah. So first of all, we expect you to still live your life. And I think the biggest tip I could give is having a couple bins in different areas of the house that you can target prior to a showing. And for example, if you have kids with toys everywhere, maybe you have a bin in the mudroom or you have a bin in the basement where you can just stick all those toys super quickly. You don't have to go place them in their exact spot every time. And I think most sellers will eventually develop like a 10-minute like pre-showing routine, so like open the blinds, turn on all the lights, put the dishes away, put all those toys in the bins, and they're out the door. I think trying to split your cleaning up throughout the week as well helps a lot. So you're continuously keeping it clean rather than doing one big giant cleanup prior to a showing. It just takes the stress off a lot when you're getting those showing requests coming in.
Yeah. And I've noticed when is the busiest time for showings? Like in a listing's life cycle. When are you going to almost inevitably have the most showings?
At the beginning.
Yeah.
At the beginning and over the first weekend, right?
Yeah.
And that's also when we as a team want to have our first open house. We, if we're doing open houses, we've talked about that, and keep that momentum, that big, it's like a Hollywood movie, right? You want to have a big opening weekend and then have some sustained momentum. And so that first weekend is good. So you might get asked to leave your house a lot on the first weekend. If it is an option, and I understand it's not an option for everybody, but if you have a cottage, or if you have parents who live in the area, or if you were thinking of going to Montreal for the weekend or go camping or something, first weekend of your listing, perfect time to do it.
Yeah.
If you can go out, if your dog can stay with somebody or they can come with you, I mean, that's ideal. You don't have to go totally clear out every weekend you have a showing, but that first weekend seems to be when there's a lot of activity.
Sure.
Yeah, and that will help, take care of some of the sanity. The other thing will help you just with sanity is positioning your house so that it's not on the market as long. So if you're listening to the advice from your team about how to price, how to prepare, I mean, this is going to help you in the long run because you're going to sell faster. You can put the sold sign up and then you can just wait for it to close. You don't have to show it anymore after that other than the final walkthrough. Okay, Karim, I've got one for you. So let's talk about the logistics of showings themselves. So when the house is on market, you have to be ready to leave on a short notice. We talked a little bit about the bins, Chelsea mentioned, but what's your best advice for a seller to make that process easier? Is it just about having a go bag or a good system?
Yeah, you've talked a lot about go bags with clients before, I've noticed. It's very effective, I've heard from clients too. Having a bag that's ready to go, especially if you have kids or pets, having a bag that has all the essentials for the kids that you can just take with you and leave with. Otherwise, I find it's helpful to have like a baseline of cleanliness in the house at all times, right? Like counters cleared, washrooms clean, nothing on the floor that shouldn't be on the floor.
In the yard, you're staying on top of the dog poop in the yard kind of thing and not
Right.
letting it too much.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes even just using one of the 4 washrooms you have, just so you have less to clean, can make a big difference too.
You pretend it's the 1950s when houses only had one bathroom and everybody had to wait.
Yeah.
And the hot water ran out. So,
Exactly. You line up for the bathroom,
Exactly. And the other thing that I find helps is checklists. And we provide things like this just to say, and we have it on our website too. So if you go to nickfundytus.ca, you can find these things. And it's like, when you're about to go out the door, here's a good little checklist of things to do. I mean, have something ready to just wipe the counter. Just know where everything goes. It's also just knowing when your showings are going to be. We can set things up when we're listing a house so that you don't have to worry about clearing out in an hour for showings. We can set it up. So, I mean, you might even have day before notice, but we want to make sure that that if you're on top of when those should be and they're on the calendar and things like that, that you're ready to go. Great. Okay. So for both of you here, just to kind of close things out on the questions, if you walked into a home tomorrow that plans to list in the spring, so somebody calls us and wants to list in the spring, what is one task that you wish the sellers had started a month ago?
Decluttering.
Yeah. I'm going to double down on the decluttering. I think,
Are you hearing that, everybody?
I think you don't realize at first how much time and like mental capacity you need to like declutter years of stuff that you collect, right? And it has such a huge effect because it'll help buyers coming through actually envision themselves in the space rather than, going up to your family photos on the wall and like, trying to figure out if they might know you or they can actually envision their own stuff in the space, and it'll help them feel a lot more at home when they're walking through your property.
Yeah, I'll add to that also, like the small touches that will be needed, like painting, fixing small problems in the house, sometimes take weeks to complete. Mm-hmm. And you think, fixing these won't take too long before listing, but you start doing them, you're like, I'll need like a couple of weeks to do this. We see it all the time too, right? So
yeah. And the week that you're decluttering is like inevitably the week that the boss, gives you a new project at work or something, or one of the kids gets sick, like we see it all the time. And we'll help as much as we can, but help us help you. It's, the thing that I wish people would, it's related to the decluttering, is just talk to us. If you know that you will be moving, you're never bothering us. Like I know all you guys you two are so good with people coming to you with questions, and there's never, you're asking me these questions. So when are you going to buy or sell? Like that's not really on your radar for that. You're just kind of coming at it from a spirit of generosity and making sure that you have the information that you have. And our whole team, we will make sure that we answer the questions for you so that when it is time to make your move, you're going to feel a lot more comfortable. So go ahead and reach out to us anytime. So thank you again, Chelsea and Karim. I really appreciate you guys coming and taking the time out of working with clients, and Karim shutting off your phone, because I know that you're getting lots of calls today. If you are looking around your living room today, right now thinking, I don't even know where to start, this is exactly when you should call us. So you don't need to have the answers, and you certainly don't need to have a perfectly tidy house for that first conversation. So let us come in, help you prioritize a list, triage things, and connect you with the right tradespeople so that you aren't doing this alone. So check the show notes for our guide on cosmetic updates and getting a head start. I'm Nick Fundytus. This is Realtor in Your Pocket. Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you again in a month. And if you're wondering about the timing of buying and selling, you can go back a month to our January episode, which is all about timing your move. That's all. We'll see you again soon.
What is people first when it comes to real estate? After all, we're buying and selling properties, so is it really about people? People first just means that people are more important than properties. It means that at the heart of every move, there's a human story. And that's why my team and I have to be excellent for you every time you buy or sell a home. That's why we take so much time to educate all our clients on the market and on the process. That's why we are continually improving our processes, honing our negotiation skills so that you know you are getting Ottawa's best when you work with us. That's why we stay in touch year after year with our past clients, because I believe, and we believe as a team, that being a business in Ottawa means that we have an obligation to our community, to improve it, to serve it, and to connect the people who live in it. In an era where property sales are often prioritized over people, our team puts relationships first. One client at a time, one relationship at a time. That's people first real estate.